with things being like quite difficult, a lot of clubs closing, I was like, I've always wanted to have my own event, my own thing, because I never really know like where I fit. Like you have like your tour room, Defected, like you have all your big labels, and I like bits and pieces of all different things, but I don't feel like I fit in anywhere. I don't feel like I've arrived anywhere. Or there's been labels I've released on, but like I don't really feel like anyone's been like, welcome to the family, you know. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Tottenham, because obviously I support Spurs, so for me that gig is like pretty cool, not gonna lie. Yeah. It's a very rare opportunity that we get to do a job where it's acceptable to get pissed and have fun. I never abused it to start off with, and I actually really preferred, I don't mind having one or two occasionally, but I actually prefer to DJ sober. Like I feel like I can zone in and really be in the moment. But yeah, I was getting to a point where like I wasn't happy, like I was actually drinking quite a bit at work, and feel like I just lost my head a bit. I feel like this industry, and most industries actually, I feel like it's all about who you know. Talent gets you so far, and talent sometimes, and having no talent actually, I've noticed gets people far too. It's just knowing the right people, like clearing sick off the floor and then looking out for like £5 notes. Like sometimes I'll come home with more money that I'd found on the floor than like I actually got paid for the gig. Like scraping sick off stuff, I was like, whatever, like that'll pay for my DJ lesson drinks.
Today I've got Amy Lauren. Thanks for joining me today.
Whoop, whoop. Thanks for having me. Finally.
We finally joined the stars and got it going. So, well, outside of all my guesses, like where you grew up, and you know, where did your music influences start really?
So, I grew up in North London and moved to Essex when I was 15. So yeah, kind of grew up in Essex, and do you know what? I got into music really late. I actually used to have horses. I used to be a show jumper. So that was my life, my career. Like literally wake up, it was like eat, breathe, sleep, like everything was just horses. And sadly, like my parents split up, and like we had to sell the house and the horses and everything. And I got an all job starting as a glass collector in a nightclub. Worked my way up to management, and that is where my passion for house music come from. Like it just blew my mind. Like seeing the DJ, we had this really cool, like, the venue was like long shaped. Like it was like 800 capacity, maybe smaller. Felt like it was crammed when it was busy, but just like straight down and narrow. The booth was just at the back, like slightly risen. And it just blew my mind, like how the DJ literally controlled the whole night. We went from bar, restaurant to like nightclub. So seeing how, you know, like the lighting and everything would just kind of gradually change. We're starting on that deep house vibes, like a bit nice, and then sort of pick it up and being mental by the end. I was just like, I think I want to be off the bar and I want to be in the booth. And that's literally how I got into music. Come in on my nights off, I'll buy a vodka Red Bull. Can you kind of stand behind you and show me what the buttons do? So yeah, like
that's sick.
If I could go back in time, I would have like picked music or something at school. But
yeah, when I was at school, I was like, oh, music's for geeks and stuff. And then I did glass collecting at a campsite in Sheffield. Yeah, and they weren't playing like cool music there. They were playing like your typical like sort of disco-y karaoke kind of music, right? But yeah, being a glass collector, that kind of was my, same as you, my sort of introduction as like then sort of nightclub life.
Do you know what? I feel sorry for kids nowadays because like everything, like people do still have cash, but everything's kind of card now, and there's a lot of places that are cashless. So like perks of the job, being on minimum wage at like 19, 20, was collecting glasses, like clearing sick off the floor and then looking out for like £5 notes. Like sometimes I'll come home with more money that I'd found on the floor than like I actually got paid for the gig. Like scraping sick off stuff. I was like, whatever, like that'll pay for my DJ lesson drinks.
Yeah, you come absolutely stinking of like everyone's like leftovers in all their alcohol.
I used to wear white shirts sometimes and it would just be multicoloured. And like I'd always be sticky, like crawling into
yeah. right near the glass washer as well. It's all sticky on the floor, and oh yeah.
Like all the glass washed down. Glasses are like I had to wear glasses at night. Glasses steams. Like just But me really good friends and like definitely. I feel like everyone at some point should experience hospitality because I think it makes you a better person having to deal with that and see what that's like. So
definitely thick skin for the glass collecting, that's for sure.
100.
So where did when you said you started going to clubs then and started like watching the DJs, you know, do their thing and stuff and wanting to learn, like how did that start and how did that journey like progress from there?
So it kind of literally started from like the nights off. I'd come in and be like, "What are you doing?" I went to Cash Converters actually, and I bought like a really awful. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah. I'd swear all the time. Yes.
I bought this really fucking shit controller. I think it was a new thing. It hardly worked. I had like an old MacBook Pro, which I've still got actually.
Nice.
I sort of plugged it in and just bedroom DJ'd. Like just tried to teach myself as best as I could with like what I had. And then it was a shame because I really wanted to push on with it. But as you're aware, like if you're working in that sort of industry, you're expected to work Friday, Saturday nights.
Yeah.
So like it was a little bit of something that I kind of would do at home and always just like, I would like to try this out one day. And I progressed up to management and then I kind of actually moved companies. And it was probably one of my favourite jobs. I had a really good team of people. Like I really liked where I worked. I think I've been there 7 months and they were just a little bit slow on progressing me because it wasn't really their fault. It was just like the situation of the staff that they had. And my old manager from that old bar that I worked in knew that I was wanting to DJ a little bit and was like, "Oh, would you fancy doing a Sunday night residency, playing house, the sort of stuff that you like? Might be nice for you to kind of like do that to have your first and we'll all be here anyway for support. But I know you know what you're doing. Like you'll be fine with that night." So I was like, "Yeah, do you know what? Like, I'm going to do it." So I took on the residency, and then I thought, "Do you know what? I'm going to quit my job." Like balls to the wall. I thought, worst case scenario, I could always go back to job role. But I feel like that was a once in a lifetime opportunity to leave my job and then have the hours that I needed to make up the money. So that was the drive to like do the Sunday residency, push to try and get some other things. And it kind of snowballed from there, really. I mean, there was a lot of gigs playing music that I didn't like, but no regrets because learning to play open format, I think, like if you can play to anybody, playing music you don't know and don't particularly like, but still keep a dance floor, then like playing the music that you're passionate about to people that want to be there and want to listen, like it's a doddle. So I think that's kind of how it all come about for me, really.
It kind of falls into like, say, like the hospitality. You've done the groundwork of like the glass collecting. Because this is how I look at it, and this could be wrong, but it's how I look at it. You kind of read how like the business works, and as an open format DJ, you got to keep the punters in, right, and keep buying drinks, and it's all that system, right? Do you know what I mean? Do you think a lot of people like miss that?
Yes and no. I feel like some people just have a good eye for being able to read a room, and that's cool. But I do think advantage for us because if you work the back end of it, you understand how the whole thing works, and it maybe not even like that will make you perform better on the night. I feel like maybe just even in the way you conduct yourself. Like I've experienced a lot of DJs back then that wouldn't even acknowledge that like I was there. Like I bring them drinks over, and it was like almost like they were better. No one's better than anybody. We're all doing different jobs. Like it is, but I feel like it gave me a real understanding of like I'll walk into a venue and I'll always be polite. I like to talk to the staff, and sometimes I've noticed the staff are almost shocked. Like, oh my god, the DJ's speaking to me. It's like, who made us like that? Like,
I know, right? Yeah.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's lovely when everyone's like, "Oh my god, smashed it," and it's like, "Oh, thanks." But like, but I love that, like having a drink with them at the end of the night. Like, how was your night? Oh, did you see that guy? He was going mad. He had a well good night, or she was really drunk, or like I don't know. Like, it's just nice. Like, our job is so sociable and anti-sociable because I miss working in a bar and a team because you're all bonded. Like even if there's people that you don't really like you're all in it together. It's been hard, but as a DJ, like they say hello to you, but you could be DJing to 30 people or 1,000 people, but you're actually quite isolated. you go in, say hello, you could be there for an hour set or a 7-hour set. Just literally just hello to a few people, like maybe have the odd convo, but you're on your own. You might go through the slog of like really struggling to keep the dance floor for a period of time or whatever, and it's like then you finish and it's like I don't miss the close downs because they used to take hours and I didn't get paid for it, but like kind of go, oh cool, off, see you later, and leave. You're mentally stimulated, like everyone, like you go home and go to bed. Like my DJ bag, like I swear that I spend more time with that than anybody else. Like you've seen that meme, innit? Like that DJ meme, and it's like when people think it's like all raves, and it's literally just like you go from hotel to house or wherever, just you and your DJ bag.
Yeah.
It's lonely, it's fucking lonely sometimes, but it's Owen change it is a vibe.
Yeah, it's like when I used to DJ, I used to do like warm-ups and stuff when I started, or if I was closing or whatever, I'd start collecting the glasses that were around the booth and start taking them to the bar.
This is why people love me, right? Because I'll finish, I'll take my drinks back over to the bar. Like, that's normal behaviour. I'll do that in a restaurant. Like, well, if it's a nice restaurant, obviously they clear it for you. But sometimes, like, you know, they take the bar, like, as I walk out, I'm like, oh, thanks, see you later. Like, that's kind of normal for me. But, like, a lot of, like, venues are like, you're the only DJ that does that. And we go in and the booth's disgusting after, like, thank you. Like, we really appreciate that. And it's like, oh, like, you're welcome. Like, it's easy for me walking past the bar anyway. Like, the staff don't close down and think, like, okay, I need to make sure the DJ booth's good for the next DJ. Like, it's for the customers. They want to have nice, clean tables. So, yeah, and if I'm DJing and it's dead, I'll be like, can I have a blue roll and a cloth? Because some of them are so sticky, innit? And if I'm wearing white, I'm just, like, dirty. So I'm like, cleaning the booth. And I love... Oh, it's so funny. I love rewiring everything. I hate it when all the wires are everywhere. If I've got time, I will unplug everything, rewire everything. And even if there's tape, I will tape things so it's all neat and I'll be like, it's good to go.
There you go, yeah. It's funny because, like, as you know, like for me, like when I used to clean up the glasses, I used to think of the people that were like the glass collectors. I'm like, they got to go for all them people, walk them all out. And I thought if I could like limit, like... Because they've been in that position, right? Both of us. In that. Do you know what I mean? So
100%. It's nice. It's nice that I feel like you really understand, like, what through the same way. It's an interesting perspective. I'm sure a lot of other people is quite different, but yeah, I love it. Like, it's great. I don't always want to stay in the kind of nightlife industry. Like, it's a bit fucking bad, but I'm not a morning person. I've never been a morning person. Like, late nights for me, like, and the messiness of like everyone getting on it and just having a good time. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's wicked. So how was that the first open format, like DJ set that you did then? How did that go? Terrifying.
Because, like, I grew up listening to a bit of history and stuff, but, like, I was never really into music. So I was kind of, I had what I thought people liked. And, I mean, you got, like, your Kittballs and all that, Rihanna, like, stuff that's not changed since forever. So, like, yeah, it was I feel like it was hard to me because I knew that certain things worked, and when things went south, I knew it was going wrong and I needed to fix it. So it was just kind of working out for myself what goes well together, what sort of time, being able to read a crowd well. Like, I did struggle, but I wouldn't change it because I feel like it really made me think on my feet, and I'm really grateful for it. And the thing I take from open format is, like, I kind of, like with house music, you've got like your subgenres. So it's all, so I feel like the open format helped me to play around the genre, like the genres of house. So you got like your Afro house, like your Afro beats, like, you know, like your kind of hip hop, you have like your hip hop house and your remixes and your G house, like kind of moving through it all with the feels, the energy and all that sort of stuff. So now I don't really take on open format gigs, but if I have to play something that's quite commercial, I feel like I can do a good job and people probably wouldn't notice that the BPM's probably not dropped between like 115 because I don't like playing R&B anymore. But like even just playing remixes of stuff and disco remixes of like Dua Lipa, like it's just knowing how to get them in, but I can still try and do it. So it's like on my vibe and it's fun. Like I like mixing tracks. So yeah.
Yeah. So how did it progress from there then? From that first gig, obviously they were impressed with what you did and stuff like that. So what was the? You said it was a snowball effect. So how did it, progress from there?
Do you know what? I feel like this industry, and most industries actually, I feel like it's all about who you know. Talent gets you so far, and talent sometimes, and having no talent actually, I've noticed gets people far too. It's just knowing the right people.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really tried to, at the early doors, I really tried to lean into my contacts of nightclub managers and bar managers that I'd worked for. And through that, picked up a couple of like open format-y bits and pieces. And do you know what? I really enjoyed it for a really long time. And then it was before COVID. So it was when I was living in Essex. So I got to a point where I was DJing 5 nights a week, which was good because I needed the experience and the money was good. Well, it wasn't like amazing, but like going from being on like minimum wage for like 5 hours a night to doing maybe 4 hours a night and getting 150 quid. Like I was like, oh my God, like that's
rolling in it.
I'm in it. But yeah, like I was traveling though, so like Essex was going to like Brighton one day, and then I was going like to Cambridge another day, and then sometimes I'd do something in Colchester, like where my mum lives. So I burnt out. Like I actually was enjoying it for a while, and then I become really miserable. Like I wasn't speaking. I didn't actually see anybody. I felt like I was off like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then it'd be like, yeah, the rest of the week would work. So I never really saw any of my friends, didn't really see anybody. I'd come home, go to bed, sleep all day, wake up. And it's that, when you're working late, you're like, I've not really got time to do anything. But then it's too long to just kind of sit and do nothing. But I'd sit and do nothing, go to work, come back. And like, yeah, I started to be a bit depressed. Like I started to actually like drink at work. And I know it's great, like sometimes it's lovely to have a drink at work. It's a very rare opportunity that we get to do a job where it's acceptable to get pissed and have fun. I never abused it to start off with, and I actually really preferred, I don't mind having one or two occasionally, but I actually prefer to DJ sober. Like I feel like I can zone in and really be in the moment. But yeah, I was getting to a point where like I wasn't happy. Like I was actually drinking quite a bit at work and feel like I just lost my head a bit. So when COVID happened, it actually came at a really good time for me because I was just like, well, I can't DJ. What am I going to do next? And also I wasn't really playing any house music and just felt like I wasn't even involved in the scene. So yeah, it was kind of like, where am I going to go with this? Because I wasn't playing any house music. I really wanted to be in the scene, but no one would book me for house events because why'd you book me for a house event where you can see me playing open format at like Yates or somewhere? Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like there was a bit of a snobbery there. So it's like, what do I do? Do I just make myself unavailable for this and hope the bookings will come in? But I need to earn a living. So like, yeah, when COVID happened, it was a blessing in disguise because I was like, right, I need to get on live streams, I need to DJ house, and I need people to realize like this is like my sound. And then I didn't even really know my sound, so I feel like I lost myself. So yeah, COVID was horrible, but also good because I feel like I just got to concentrate on that. And coming out of it, I mean, still struggle for bookings sometimes. I feel like I'm not quite where I need to be, but I'm definitely I'm in the right direction of doing things around that is me. And I've been like, my head's been good since that.
No, that's good. And Joe, I'm glad you actually brought it up because I suffered the same thing. Right, I didn't produce for like 4 years. I had a bad depression. My missus went through some health stuff, and I got so depressed. I'd get home, sit on the sofa, and do nothing. I would go to work and then just sit down and do nothing. Didn't want to make music. I struggled with the podcast thing and everything like that. And I was working through COVID as well. I'm glad you bring that up because I did counselling and things like that, and I think it's a good thing to just take a break from it because just even a normal day job, like even when we were doing like the hospitality stuff and even with DJing, I used to DJ 3 times a week. That even was tiring for me back then, and you do need that break, didn't you? So it's good because I think like we see on social media that it's high life of like DJing every day, like getting on the private jets and things like that, but we don't see, like you said, a bit like that meme.
And the thing is, it's like we always put our best foot forward on Instagram, but sometimes like, I'm just me. And do you know what? As we talk about part-time jobs, now I've just moved to Liverpool. I've actually just got a part-time job like at TK Maxx, and I've only been there 2 days and like been doing my training, and I feel like it's just what I needed, because when everything's all on music, it can be like, I need what's next, and it's like moving here. It's been great because I feel like I'd like to have some friends, so that's another reason. Kind of just want to like have a bit of a normal life outside of like DJing and stuff, I suppose. Just come at a good time, but just fair bit of extra cash as well, because I swear to God, like it is, even though it's been so long since COVID and things have got better, I feel like things are slowly starting to get worse again a little bit. Like a lot of the nightclubs closed down. There's more DJs than there are clubs, and I mean, I'm happy that so many people are wanting to do this, because I'll tell anybody to buy a controller and give it a go. But it is hard. Like, yeah, it is, I feel like gigs are really difficult now. So yeah, no shame. Literally got a part-time job, and that has taken some stress off me. And I was literally walking home from work earlier, and I actually felt like this has all come at a really good time. And it's really nice to go and do a job, leave the door, and switch off.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I don't know about it. It's done. And it's so funny because I didn't want to work anywhere else. I was shopping TK Maxx, and I was like, I need a part-time job, but there's nothing interests me. I don't want to do anything, and I don't want to overcommit. I was like, I spent a lot of time in TK Maxx. I was like, wow, if the other time I was at TK Maxx, I'd work there. And luckily I was looking on Indeed for months, and then when they come up, I was like, pressure's on now, I need to get the job. It's all work. So yeah, I'm actually grateful for having that, to have that little bit of a break in between everything that's music right now. I think it's come at a good time. So yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like you say, breaks up the day. You get to meet a bit more characters at work, and there's always like an older lady that's worked there for years, and she's like the mother of everyone, right?
There was a lady there earlier, and I was like, "Hi, maybe nice to meet you." Gave her a hug, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, like I like to hug people, and some people are uncomfortable." And I was like, "I hope I wasn't too much." She was like, "No, it's fine. I've been here for years. It's really lovely." And I was just like, "I'm gonna like you. I'm gonna like you." But what I also really wanted to work there as well is because, like I was saying earlier, I miss being part of a team, and I love the fact that it's such a diverse bunch of people. There's like 97 staff there, all ages, like everyone's different.
Yeah.
Just down for that. Like, just down for that. Like, yeah, I'm just sign me up. Just normal chat about stuff. Like, how's your dog? How's your nan? Like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, just the normality stuff, right? It's good. So,
but yeah, like and it's funny because like kind of coming back to what we said about social media, it's interesting because I'm just me. I do TK Maxx and do other bits. Like, I feel like it's just me. But every now and again, it's quite humbling because I'll bump into someone that I've not seen for a while, or someone that follows me online, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're doing amazing," or "I used to know you when you worked in the bar. It's really lovely to see your journey." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Because for me, it's just my life. But then when I look back, I think there are some things I have achieved. But then also I look and think, it's really interesting that you think I'm doing so well, because obviously I put the best stuff online. Like, we all do put the best stuff online. So kind of humbling to see that they see the progression, but also kind of like, oh wow, you forget how other people see you and stuff. Like, because for me, it's just my life. Like, just, yeah, I'm not rich. Like, I do some cool gigs, but I still work hard, and I'm still walk the dogs at night and struggle to pay the rent like everyone else. So like, yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm glad you explained that, because again, like I say, everyone thinks there's this high life of getting on private jets and playing these like amazing gigs. Do you know what I mean? And it ain't like that, you know.
I pay for half my own flights for places anyway. Like, come on, people. Like, most of the best gigs we do, we either pay to be there or we don't get paid for them. It's some of the worst gigs. You think, I don't really want to do this, but it's 500 quid for 2 hours. I'll do it. Like, people just need to understand what it's really like. Like, it's not cool as it seems.
Yeah, definitely. So how did you progress from there then? Like, you've gone from a few gigs, because I've noticed you've done the whole Tottenham Hotspur thing, and you've done a load of things. So what was your journey to, as you progress? I'd like to build a picture of like that journey, yeah. Well,
I'm glad you mentioned Tottenham, because I support Spurs. So for me, that gig is like pretty cool, not gonna lie. Yeah. I'm always grateful whenever I'm booked and get to be there. So that's amazing. But I'll tell you the story of how it come about, because I'm really proud of it. I think I hadn't been DJing many years, but I'd got a residency at the Essex University in their like big club Sub-Zero, and like that was my first kind of feel of playing in a proper club on a stage with lights, and like not doing the lights yourself, like having actually someone do the lights for you, like just getting to play music. I mean, some of it was open format. I got to play house sometimes, but like for me, I was like, I have arrived. Like, I want to play to people. I want to jump around. That is great. Very different from the bars. So yeah, I was playing there, and we had. Have you heard of a guy called Martin Too Smooth? He's an unbelievable DJ. Lots of stuff for celebrities. Yeah, I watch his Instagram and I'm like, bro, like sick. But he was booked as the DJ, like as the artist for that night, and he plays like hip hop and R&B and stuff. And I was meant to warm up for him and then just play after. And I think this is a really interesting topic because, you know, people say as a warm up DJ, like there's etiquette. You're not the star that day. Your job's to warm up. But then I can understand why some people think this is my opportunity to shine. But no, honey, if the brief is booked, you're a warm-up DJ, like you do a good job as what you've been asked, what you've been paid to do. So I was like, well, if he's saying hip-hop and R&B, I'm going to play house because everybody's out to hear hip-hop and R&B. So like, I'll start with like some commercial house. So it's getting later and later. Like they're all vibing a little bit, but then you can see like they're ready for the music to be changed up. And he's on in like half an hour. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to keep going, like, you know. And it got to the point where like a couple of the students were holding up their phones like, oh, when's Martin coming on? Like any hip hop and R&B? And I'm like, yeah, wait. So he's come on and I'm like, oh, maybe really nice to meet you. I was like, they're so ready for you, by the way. Have an absolute ball. I'll be behind you dancing. Like, cool. So then obviously he's gone on, introduced himself. Everyone's like, yeah, played his first track and they've gone mental. like literally what they came for, they're waiting for it. I was like, sick. He had a really good time and they just got chatting after. And I think something had come up about football and I was like, I support Spurs. And it's like, oh, cool. And then, yeah, like, again, just like pleasantry convo. It's always nice to hand over from another DJ to talk to. You don't like, I was saying earlier, it's quite lonely, isn't it? Like, just DJ going home. But, yeah, I think a couple of months later, one of his friends, Andy Purnell, again, another unbelievable DJ. They're back-to-backs when they're together are like really good. But he DJs at Spurs and he booked some of the DJs for Spurs. And I think they'd been having a conversation about needing the DJs. And Martin said, oh, I had a girl that warmed up for me. She did a really good job as a warm-up DJ for me. And she supports Spurs. And maybe she would be a good fit. So literally from being a good warm-up DJ and just being nice, a couple of months later, he remembered and put me forward for that position. And for that, I'm like forever grateful. So you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, do a good job. Do a good job as a warm-up.
Yeah, that's an interesting story because I love a warm-up set because I can go through my back catalogue from like the 90s all the way through, right? And
I love it too, honestly. Yeah. I do feel like I've done more warm-up sets than main sets. When I do a main set, sometimes I'm like, God, I haven't played a power hour for ages. Like, are they even going to like it? Is it too high energy? Like,
so how was it? Yeah, so when you first got into the Spurs stadium, like how was that feeling? Like,
mad,
because you're getting it built up, right? Like, this is a big crowd compared to like an 800 room, for example.
Well, and to be fair, like I don't play in the main bowl. I do like one of the hospitality areas.
Okay.
They have a couple of us actually, and they rotate us round
nice.
Like different areas. Have you been to the stadium before?
I haven't, no. Not the Spurs
if you get the chance, go. It's there.
It's the new one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's so beautiful. And I'm not just saying it because I'm Tottenham. Like, I like the old stadium. It's obviously it's more corporate now, but it's brilliant. Like, because I had a season ticket, so when I got to go and play, I was like, oh my God, I'm being paid to be here. Like, what? And yeah, it was kind of like very, very surreal moment. But because obviously I go there quite a lot now. I don't have a season ticket anymore. One, because I couldn't afford it out of COVID, and two, like I moved now, but like I couldn't afford it at the time. And knowing that or hoping that I was still going to be booked there, I thought, like fingers crossed it'll be okay. Still there at the moment, touch wood. So yeah, but it never gets boring. It's nice. Like I said, we're normally a couple of DJs are rotated between the different areas, so you get to meet people that are like regular season ticket holders. And when I tell you it's the easiest gig in the world, it's the easiest gig in the world, because I play, and then where the booth is, like, people can kind of move around you anyway, so it's not like you're isolated. So it's just nice. Like, I play house music. I keep it commercial, and I'm going a little bit more chilled and take it up a bit before kickoff. But I'm really grateful that they never really gave me a brief. Like, I do my own thing there, and I normally get people like come over and say they quite enjoy the music, and I see people on a regular now. So it's like, we talk. How was your week? What do you think the score prediction is going to be today? What do you think of our new signing? It's just it's not like another gig. Like, it's just, yeah, it's really, really good.
That's cool. I've never spoken to anyone that's done that before. That's kind of blown my mind a little bit. You know, 'cause that's something totally out of the ordinary.
It's cool. Like, when it come about, I was like DJ at Stadium. Like, I think sometimes for certain games they do have a DJ in the main bit, but I think sometimes it's like a PR system. So I mean, I'd love to play in there one day, but
Yeah,
I think I definitely have to play more open format in there. But I'd do it.
You never know.
Never know.
So how does it go on from there? Like, because I've read that you've had some stuff played on the radio, and have you done a bit of radio?
Yeah. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Recently, so I kind of got into like music production in lockdown. I've had a lot of help from a lot of people. So
yeah, we'll go over that. Yeah, definitely.
I'm really, really grateful for that. But yeah, I had like some support on my music, which has been really cool. And I did my own radio show on Select. I was on Select for a while, and I come off, and then I actually went back on it a little bit more recently. But I've actually just come back off it again because of moving and time and stuff like that. But it is something I quite enjoy, like literally just putting down like an hour mix of all the music that I'm really feeling, and like having a little chat about it. But yeah, it's fun, definitely fun. Something I want to revisit in another way. But I actually think my plan to kind of fill that time, I'd like to start getting back into doing like live streams, or maybe not even live streams like live. I just think I'd like to start recording a nice hour set and really feeling the music that I'm feeling. And if it's not the stuff I'm getting to play out because I'm not doing the gigs, I feel like that needs to be my outlet to be able to do that once a week and have that. And then of course, social media, I'm not really a fan of it. It's something that I have to do. And I feel like that would be a nice thing to be able to crop up some clips, be able to tag other artists, share, support music, put it on 1000 track list, and do all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of where I want to go next. But it's a shame because it's like, kind of just want to do it for the fun of it and not have to think about, I'm going to use it for this and use it for that. But at the same time, being able to use everything and being able to put it out for content and do stuff and get the most out of it with what you can. Because we don't get paid. I don't get paid for sitting for 3 hours thinking of a caption of how I'm going to tell people that I've got a gig at the weekend.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, it's just, and you feel so beggy as well. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I try, but it's not really my bag.
Yeah, I'm the same with this, you know, like, oh, please subscribe, blah, 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 you know, and it's like, I really, like, you look kind of like needy with it and beggy, and I'm like, oh, that's not me, but
the way you got it, like, because I always feel like I've been dead repetitive. Like with the Select show, it was like, don't forget to look in every Friday in the mix from midnight till 1 a.m. And there's only so many ways you can say that, like by changing the words, but it's still, you want to say when it is, what time it is, what you're doing. But then also you got to think, well, what if someone followed me this week that didn't even know I did that every week? It's new information for them. So I still feel like I try to get my head around things, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, and other times I'm like, I've already posted something similar like that, and it's headache.
So I will go into your production then. Like, you obviously learned a bit of production. Like, what did you start learning with, like the DAW, and your progression of learning like production? Yeah.
So it actually came about, like, I used Logic, and what really helped me was I started when I was on Select, I started like editing my shows in that. So that was kind of like the foot in the door of it, really.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, like it was in pre-recorded shows, sort of got into it that way. I mean, I was still like nowhere near where I need to be. I have a lot of help. Have you heard of Dots Prince? You know Dots Prince?
Yes, I've heard the name, yeah.
He's a really good friend of mine. Again, another DJ that was booked when I was playing that I did a good warm-up set for, and we've become friends.
Sick.
And he, in lockdown, we were talking, and he was like, he wanted to do his own label, so he created his own label, High Definition. So he would help me with like my production and stuff, and like kind of how to release, and that whole different insight into that world of like music, like the whole music industry, really, rather than just like turning up and DJing, kind of blew my head off, and it's forever changing. So yeah, I sort of helped him with stuff with the label with that, and it kind of snowballed from there. Do a lot of collabs with a lot of people, and I feel like that helps to learn stuff. But like, I don't know, it's hard, isn't it? I would much rather be out and about than locked in the studio. Like,
yeah.
So,
hey, what was your first track like? Like when you made it, was it was it like a bit of like, oh shit, this is not good, or is it?
That's really weird. Like, what I've realised is like, and I think it probably come from some of the gigs I was doing. So in lockdown, I wasn't DJing, so my first track was called Work, and it's kind of like bit like bass house. But I've realised like, I would never play it out. It's just not something that will kind of fit in my sets.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've moved a little bit more. Working with other artists, like I feel like I've definitely moved a bit more housey, but I haven't put anything out for ages, and I've got a couple of things I really need to finish off. I'm struggling to get stuff signed. I feel like I understand it from a label point of view for doing High Definition. Again, like really a small label, just friends helping each other out, like no real big support. But you know, like you kind of lean on like trying to get like other DJ support and asking people to playlist. And like, yeah, have a little bit of help that way from it. But I feel like actually recently, the last few years, it's really, really difficult. For small labels, I think it's really difficult. And I think to try and get on bigger labels, it's even harder because A&Rs aren't even necessarily looking at how talented you are or how good the music is. There's so much music now. Like, I don't even...
Oh, there's 100...
How many tunes get released on Spotify every day is mad. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like playing the lottery. We all still kind of hope that we have that track that has a lucky break. But I know so many DJs and producers that have put out music that I think like, this is brilliant. And if this was supported and playlisted on Radio 1 and put in all the places where normal people listen to music, this is a number 1 hit. But not like, I know we don't really get into politics, but it's all about who you know. There is a bit of a click there, and I feel like it's not necessarily about talent anymore. It's really about knowing the right people.
No.
You're trying to get people to listen to stuff. They're more interested in your followers, and I mean, people can buy them. Like, mine are real, but if I put on an event, I started doing events. But if I put on an event, I struggle to get 10 people to come to my event, and that's like close friends and family. So followers means nothing. Like, it literally doesn't. It's just, I feel like the music industry is in a really weird place at the moment. So
yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree.
How are you finding it? Like,
I totally agree, because I mean, it was different when I was doing it because Facebook was out for 3 years, right? It started in 2007, I think.
It's old now, Facebook, isn't it?
Show me age, I'm 34.
I bet you guys, that was no, like, it's just,
yeah.
It's
and so back then, it was all about Facebook pages, right? You know, start your page. I had like 1,000 followers on there, put music on there. Instagram wasn't really the thing, right? And SoundCloud was the basic version where it was for musicians. Now is all these adverts, and it's kind of like a Spotify thing. And back when we did events, we'd have to put the posters up on the roundabouts, on the signs.
That.
Yeah.
Like, it's so it's sad now. Like, I don't know. It's good in a way because obviously, like, we're in the future. Like, we all got like phones with apps. Like, it's part of the progression. but then it does feel a little less personal, like just putting 50 quid on an ad to promote some really lovely artwork. But that artwork never really even sees the light of day, like anywhere. Like I miss having things. If I ever get to play somewhere and there is a poster with my name on it or my face on it, I always say, "Can I take it home, please?" Because like it's something of
sick.
You even see like just scrolling on your Instagram page. It's nice. It is, and a little business card in a collection. But yeah, it is very strange. I wish I feel like I got into music as it was all changing, and I really wish I'd had a couple of years to do it sooner. But then I also wish I got into it even before, because I feel like the whole vinyl, like I never learned on vinyl, I learned on CDJs, but I would have really liked to have experienced that. Like I feel like that would have been quite go record shopping. Like now it's like I feel like SoundCloud's pretty cool. Like I look on Hive Edit for like cool little bootlegs and stuff, and I'll spend time online. But I'm quite sociable. I never got to experience what I do. The search online from my bed's handy sometimes, I know, but I would have loved to have gone to a record shop. Like I listened to bits. Like my stepdad used to do it back in the day, and he was like, "Yeah, my mate would say this is the sort of vibe that you like," and he'd hold records for me, and they'd go in and listen, and then where are you DJing this weekend? What events coming up? Here's a flyer. Here's a CD. Like that sounds amazing. I'm really gutted I missed that.
Yeah, I mean, I got the tail end of it. Like, I didn't really go vinyl shopping, but my buddy Jim Jam, back in the day, him and his friends did like bass and drum and bass and stuff. We used to do parties in, yeah, like in the middle of fields and stuff back in the day. And he was like, "Look, I've got 300 vinyl here. You either take them or they're going in the canal, either or." And I went through them. There's like stuff from Defected in like the early 2000s. And I was like, "You sure you don't want them?" He's like, "No, I fucking hate house." I went, "Okay."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So I didn't really shop, but I had them there for it. And but yeah, going into like the whole like promotion thing, like yeah, social media is helpful now, but I used to have to do the whole ticket sales back in the day, you know, like you said, getting 10 people to come to London, like, you know, when I lived in Essex or whatever, to go all the way over there, it's tough, right? And
really hard. And I feel like that's why I wanted to start doing my own events, like, because I love playing, but like my passion is I want to put out music, but I want to play music. I want to play good music. Like, I just want to play good music and I want to make people dance and I want to be in that vibe. Like, that's the addiction for me. Like, I want to be amongst it all. And with things being like quite difficult, a lot of clubs closing, I was like, I've always wanted to have my own event, my own thing, because I never really know like where I fit. Like, you have like your tour room, Defected, like you have all your big labels, and I like bits and pieces of all different things, but I don't feel like I fit in anywhere. I don't feel like I've arrived anywhere. Or there's been labels I've released on, but like I don't really feel like anyone's been like, welcome to the family, you know, like it's just like, it's lovely to have a release, and I've met some amazing people through it, and I had some cool things happen, or kind of nothing's happened, and it's cool because it's just part of the movement. But I feel like I've always been craving like, where's my family? And I've got some lovely friends I've met along the way that kind of are my family. But I was like, that's what made me want to do my own event. So like I've started one. It's called Deja Groove. It's like,
that's a cool name.
Thank you.
That's sick. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's cool.
It's nothing big. It's just I've only put on a couple of small parties, like done some with friends too. And yeah, I feel like for me, I want to grow it, because if I can get 30 people to come to see me, my mates or whoever I booked, and literally like they're there because of the vibe, like, and they're there like for what I'm doing, what it's about, then I feel like then I found my people. Yeah, so, and if that's 30 grows to 50 and eventually grows to 100 and maybe one day grows to 1,000 happy days, but like I'm very much like, if I can just do something quite small and have the people there that want to be there, then that's what I want to do. Or that's what I'm trying to do. So, like, yeah, if I can't be booked for events, I will create my own events. Like,
yeah, definitely.
that's how I'm sort of seeing it. So I feel like next year, definitely, I really want to push forward with that, because I quite enjoy that. It's, you know, like going out and selling tickets. Obviously, it's online and it's a bit different now. But like, yeah, I like speaking to people and like just being about, like, yeah.
That's cool.
That's definitely the future plan. I really want to grow the brand. Eventually, I was thinking of having it as a record label, but I would never say never, but as how things are, I don't even think I want the stress of it. I actually think I just want to do really cool parties.
Yeah. And again, though, like that could be, like, you know, if the events sort of kick off and, you know, this, that, and the other, that record label could eventually be, you know, incorporated and run itself, you know. Like, I always look at things like in the present day of like what you're trying to do. Like I did my counselling, like, you know, you sort of try and, you know, look to the better things and the positive things. But where did the name Deja Groove come up from then?
Do you know what? It started, so I had that idea, I think it was like lucid grooves, quite like, I don't know. I think I Googled it. I didn't even really know what it meant. It was just sort of like lucid grooves. And originally we were gonna do an event with some friends.
Yep.
And I was just spitballing some ideas, and I think I went on Beatport to have a look. But I put that name into Google, an artist I think called Lucid Grooves come up on Beatport, and I thought, can't really take an artist name because I'd be a bit annoyed if someone had an event and was like, oh, it's Amy Lauren. I mean,
imagine if you booked him.
No, but I thought, you know, so just spitballing some ideas, and one of the girls that I know, she was the one that actually said, what about Deja? And I was like, it's sick. And we were planned on doing this together, and eventually, like, it never really come about. And then I did message after and say, like, I want to revisit this. It's like a year later. Would you have a problem if I used the name? And like, it was all good because they do their own events and stuff anyway. So it's kind of how it come about. So 50 me, 50 Tyler. Thank you. I'm also I really like dogs as well. So we're actually going to be starting doing like some pop-up like dog meets and hopefully like dog discos as well. So
that'd be sick. Yeah, I've never.
That's very early days, but I think that's something that I'm going to be starting on really soon. So I'm actually really excited.
That's crazy.
It like Doggo Groove or something, but
Doggy Day Groove.
Yeah. Well, it's got legs to do different things, like coffee meets and like almost like the light sort of brunchy like early doors, you know, like I think it's like pause and prosecco sort of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, just I don't know, I just yeah, it's something that I just love my dogs, so I just put on a party in it.
Yeah, no, that's cool because like I think now, like you said earlier, like with this industry now, the music industry, you kind of have to think outside the box because it is so oversaturated with, you know, a lot of music and a lot of stuff like that. So, and I was always a big fan of like doing local stuff as well, like supporting local. Yeah, and I think that's wicked. You know, doing like a little doggy disco thing. That's a good idea. Like, you know, and just even with the events, I like, you know, I DJ'd in a bar in Maidstone called R Bar, and it only held like maybe maximum probably 100 people, not even, and it was just deep groove, minimal kind of house music. And I think if you know, like your event, Deja Groove, like you said, only if there's 30 or 50, I think they're the best events because that's kind of like more into it, right? You got your big ones like drum sheds, but that's more like
100. I mean, don't get wrong.
Yeah,
drum sheds, bucket list. Would love to play there, and I love playing big stages. But if you actually had to ask me what's my favourite, I like that kind of boiler room style. Like when the booth's not really a booth, it's just a table and people are standing around you. But if you've got people around you vibing, I like to be able to look up and fist pump someone. And I like everyone's different style, everyone's a different DJ. It's cool. Like there are some things where I'm playing chilled out music and it's like, it's cool. Like that's my job. But if I am booked somewhere to bring something to life, like I get a buzz of seeing people buzz, and like it's nice to be able to bring people round. Like they're enjoying the vibes and naturally they're a bit curious as to what you're doing. So if you can have people around you, like having a little dance, and I like you know what I don't like sometimes? Some people could be quite mean online and they're like, are you booked to DJ or dance? And it's like, well, I can't dance, but I can DJ. And just because I throw my hands in the air and have a good time doesn't mean I'm doing it just for purely camera purposes. Like I'm actually having a good time.
Yeah,
but that is what I want to recreate with like Deja Groove. I want to start small. I mean, don't get me wrong, future goals, a massive venue would be amazing, but I want to find small rooms. I want to find nice venues that kind of aesthetically look a little bit of how I envision my brand to be when I eventually have the money to be able to get decor and book like to have saxophone, bongos, like all of that, like proper groovy vibes. But obviously, like just starting, just need somewhere small and just get a couple of people down. And it's like for me, it's stripping it back to what it's meant to be. It's about the music. Sadly, you need to get content so then you can show people this is what it is, so more people want to come. But it's more. I love intimate gigs. You work harder. Like if you've got a room with 50 people and they're having a vibe, like if 20 of them decide they're going to the bar or going for a cigarette, it's not like you're not playing bangers. Like naturally, dance floor is going to kind of just. So it's like you have to work for it. You have to go. Actually, I'll go for that fag in a minute because like I've just dropped another banger, and it's like I don't know. It's so much more fun. Like that's what I'm about.
Yeah, and even just finding them quirky little venues, right, and them cool little rooms and that. I think that's like wicked. Like we played one which was underground and the ceiling was 6 foot. It was terrible for me because I'm 6'7", but like, but it was so small and tiny. It was wicked. And there was one in Medway, the Medway Towns in Chatham called Mojo back in the day. And it was an old like underground like sort of gun storage thing underneath like a big pub restaurant.
Good.
Yeah, and shout out to Rob Cockerton who sort of ran it, but he kind of made it, got Martin Audio in and everything because just a booth, and the dance floor only held like 80 people, but he got some of the biggest names playing there, and that was like one of the best sort of vibes I've ever been to. And I've been to a lot of clubs, but yeah.
I find sometimes like, do you know what I actually found? I went to Creamfields this year. I had been for a while, love it. But I don't know, it's weird. I haven't when I go, if I'm spending money to go and see an artist, maybe my bar's really high, but I expect to be blown away because if I'm playing, I play music I like, obviously. So it's like I feel like if I really want to pay a lot of money to go, or same with Ibiza, if you're paying a lot of money to go and see these big artists, like I have to want to really see them and be blown away. And sometimes being in a big crowd is amazing because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to be behind the DJ because that's the best place to be. Put a bag of cut there, got a bit of room. Like, we like to be in the booth and vibe. But also, like, it is nice to be able to go into the crowd and then come back and, like, experience it from all angles. But, I feel like last time I went to Ibiza, I think it was last year, I was quite underwhelmed. Maybe it's because I'd seen most of these people before, but I was like, I didn't really enjoy being in the like amongst it all. Might be, but don't know. Sometimes it's nice to be in the crowds, but didn't really feel it last year when I went. And then with Creamfields this year, I had a really good time. It was with some lovely people. Like literally, the people made it for me. But none of the artists blew me away, and none of the crowds blew me away either. I feel like the maddest. I went into like a mad techno tent, and I like a little bit of techno, like to listen to, but I'm not like into techno.
Yeah.
That was the vibiest. Like I think of like all of the house, all the house stages. It was like fucking mad. But I could only stay in there for a little bit because it was like dun dun dun, and I was like, I was like, okay, it's too much for me now. I need to go. But yeah, I was really underwhelmed. I feel like a lot of the big artists, I don't know, maybe been playing the same set of main stages all year. No one blew my head off, and I actually had most fun in the drum and bass tent. Chase the Status and Sub Focus, obviously, with their OGs. But I was shocked. I like drum and bass, but I'm a house head. But my two favourite sets from that whole weekend was drum and bass. Yeah. The crowd was weird. Like, and I know Pause has been around for ages. Everyone loves Pauser, but I feel like kids now that didn't know who Pauser was is like, if you say house, they're like, he's like Pauser. Pauser's your guy. Like, have you got any Pauser? They're coming up, phone for a request, you know it's Pauser. Even the crowd for Pauser, when he dropped his tunes, they were like, yeah, but it wasn't like, fucking yeah. It was like, it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Because Pauser was DJing, and I was playing in Lightbox, and I was playing in room 3 or 2, and Pauser and Bibby were playing in room 1. And, you know, I've got flyers of Bibby's first sort of Solid Grooves event.
Oh.
And it wasn't nice artwork. It was just like a round moon with Solid Grooves in normal Times Bold writing. And he had Darius Rossian play, and I was on that night.
Wow.
And seeing how they've all gone and paused up, but yeah, like it's kind of how people.
It was we all like, because who I went with, a lot of them were DJs as well. We debriefed on the Monday after I come down, and I was like, so I had the best weekend with you guys. But I'm not gonna lie, is it just me? But I was really underwhelmed by everyone's sets. Like nothing went mad. Like what was the crowd like? Like is it because they thought they were too cool to be careless? No, I don't know. Like it was just a bit like I couldn't work it out. I was like, what is the future of raves going to? Like, yeah, it was. I mean, it's still great weekends, but I just left feeling a bit confused. Like,
yeah. It's weird because I come back 3 times a year, but I don't really go out much anymore. When I go back, I don't have time. But I'm intrigued to know, like, what it's like now. I kind of live through people's stories through who I interview on here, right? So
yeah, it's an odd one, definitely. I mean, I feel like I definitely need to get out more and go to more events and stuff. But like we were saying earlier, it's difficult. Like go back to London or do a residency bits and pieces or like gigs on the weekend. And yeah, it's I don't, if I can try and sneak out to places I will, but I also can't afford it. So, I mean, some of the tickets are really expensive, and it's like I'm sure like other DJs like will be aware of this. If it's 80 quid or 100 quid for a ticket, that's like 80 quid, whatever. But then if you're losing 250 quid that night for not DJing, then that becomes like a £300 expensive day. It's not including drinks, travel, and anything else. And before you realise it, you spend, well, like, you're not technically spent it, but for what you've spent and what you've lost, that could maybe be a £500 weekend to go to where, like, John Sheds, cool, but like, you could go on a all-inclusive, cheap little couple of day holiday or a week holiday, depending on where you go for that price. Like, and I think very much in like, and I know you shouldn't always think like that, but can't help it. Like, that's how I think. So it's like, what do you do? I'm
the same, it's just being money smart, isn't it? If you really think about it, it's just kind of knowing where, what's more kind of value to you, right? And it is right. It was the same for me back in like 2013 and 12. Pay all these ticket sales, and you're actually buying tickets to keep your slot time and all this sort of stuff. It's a nightmare. But
first gig at Ministry actually in the Baby Box. I was booked to play sell tickets, and luckily some of my friends actually did come. But I think I paid for the rest. Like played to 4 people. I think 4 of them were my mates. Had an absolute ball. But yeah, like everyone's like, oh, you don't play Ministry, it's sick. I was like, yeah, I paid to be there though, but I'll do it again.
Yeah. which kind of makes me go on to now, like the state of the club scene. I know you mentioned it right at the beginning of the show, but
it's on its arse.
Yeah, like kind of explain to me, because I see it and I see it online, but I'm not living it as much as I used to. So kind of explain to me how you feel like the UK, club scene's going, or, what direction?
Really sad. Feels like a breakup. It's weird because I think like coming out of lockdown, the fact that people weren't able to go out, I thought naively the industry would boom. I thought everyone would be like, people that weren't even asked about drinking anymore, I feel like they would have been like, I want to go out and drink because of not being able to do it. But yeah, I think it's shifted in when we were younger. When we were 16, we weren't old enough until we were 18. But when we were at that age, we were too old to be playing out on the street and drinking in parks. We were too young to go out. So we tried to go out. Whereas now, I feel like the dynamics changed. I feel like younger people, their priorities aren't going out and drinking. It's like maybe being healthy or studying and having a part-time job because everything's so fucking expensive. So yeah, everything's proper changed, and it's massively affected the clubs. And I feel like, I mean, I'm not really into politics, but I know that a lot of like independent places didn't get like government support. Rent's gone up, especially my gas and electric's so expensive at home. Imagine being an independent club owner and having to pay 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 100 times over the odds to run a venue like that. It's mad. So I can understand why a lot of places haven't made it. But then it's really sad because the ones that have kind of survived, most of them are like the big chains companies. And cool, that's great. But when you go for underground music, you can walk into most of these high street chains, but they're all playing the same music. Great for an open format DJ, and that's kind of your bag. But also, like, if you're new going out and you're still hearing like low and all that kind of stuff, where are you being educated on new music? So it's like it's an awkward one. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the independent places obviously have closed. There are still independent places, but now with places that are wanting to have bookings, whereas before I might have stood a chance of getting on a lineup and getting a foot in the door as a warm up, but now it's like they're either paying money for artists that are going to bring a crowd in because they need to make that ticket sales to, one, pay for their artist, and two, cover the cost for their club being dead. So I feel like if you're a big artist, it's cool, but I feel like if you're sort of in between or starting, it's even harder for us now to get a foot in the door, because it's true. Like, what do I offer a promoter? Like, yeah, I'll kill the night, but am I going to bring like 16,000 people? Oh, I'm going to bring my 16,000 followers off Instagram to fill your club? Absolutely not. Like, I'm not even trying to lie to say I can. So it just leaves you in a really awkward position. So yeah, I feel like it's very difficult. Yeah, especially I feel like a lot of people wanting to do events too. So yeah, it's just trying to find really cool places to go. But if you're just going out and you don't realise you're really into music, of course you're going to go to the cheap places that can offer you cheap drink deals because they're a big chain company. But say music, I feel like that's a different going out to going out for music. You know, they're kind of out to socialise, get drunk, pool, whatever, cool. But like, yeah, the people that are out for the music, it's harder.
Yeah,
it depends.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I feel like I went on a bit of a waffle, but that's kind of best way to describe it.
Yeah, no, it's gone.
Also, even venues booking headliner DJs isn't enough anymore to guarantee that that's going to fill a club. So if
really,
where does that leave us? Like, you can't rely on a 20 grand booking is going to bring in everybody. It's not.
Wow, I didn't expect it to be that bad. That's crazy.
So yeah, odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very odd. No, but I like to ask these people because I like to hear people's different perspectives on, you know, how this all kind of works and that. But it's interesting, yeah. So it kind of goes to my next question then is, what kind of future plans have you got for yourself and what's in the pipeline? I mean, obviously we spoke about the doggy discos and the label potentially, but the Deja Groove. Yeah, what else have you got for yourself?
And coming up, actually, so I'm actually DJing in Ivy for next week for my friend's wedding, which I'm really excited about. So at least
that's still sick though.
I played in Ivy for this year. We've got that coming up. And then I'm off to ADE as well. That'll be fun. I'm going with my boyfriend, who is also a DJ and producer. You might know him as Greno. So I'm really looking forward to having a holiday, but also like DJ holiday, isn't it? Like,
yeah, that's cool though. It's cool to unwind, isn't it? Do a bit of sightseeing and all that, you know. And...
I'm really excited for that. I feel like that would be really nice. And then we're DJing in Cape Verde in November. So I'm really looking forward to having some sun. And then when I fly back, actually, my next Deja Groove event is with your friends at Grounded Sounds. We're doing like a collab event at Ministry. We've got the baby box.
Oh, sick. I like the baby box. I've played it. It's wicked.
I don't know when you last came. It's different now. They've got really cool lights in there because it was like a booth at the back of the bar that kind of went into one.
Yeah.
But now the bar's gone and the booth is like, it's almost like, it's kind of 360, so you can walk around it, but it's closer to the wall. It's not like in the middle of the room. Yeah. But yeah, like I think if you had 50 people in there, that's a vibe. Like, it
definitely
brilliant. So yeah, we're really looking forward to doing the event with Grounded Sounds. It'd be sick. And yeah, I think then coming into the next year, the plan is to push with these with Deja Groove and with these like dog brunches and parties and meets. So
that's sick.
That's kind of where I'm at. And obviously I'm just getting my trading week out the way for TK Maxx, you know. Go get that 20% discount.
Living life. That's wicked though. Like, I'm glad like you got something that you like enjoy that's not related to DJing that you can do and get away from and shut your mind off and stuff like that. But talking to the baby bugs though, that was cool. I liked it when it was behind the booth because you'd be like have a little break and the guy's like, "Do you want a drink?" I'm like, "Yeah, please go on then." I used to DJ mostly sober, you know, but
oh, I love it. They had that big glass like perspex stuff out, and then like literally people be like bang 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 on the thing. You be like, but no, it looks really cool now. I'll send you some videos. Yeah, it's dope. Well, we'll get loads of content from the event anyways. But
that's sick. Do you get like videographers and that come and do you pay them to do that kind of thing, or got friends to do it?
My boyfriend's got everything and he's playing, so I was like, will you bring all your cameras? Can we record everything? He was like, yeah, I'll do the lights as well. And I was like,
sick. Yeah, that's kind of what it is now though, isn't it? You have to kind of be everything now. You have to be a manager, a promoter, a DJ, a producer, you know, it's all
everything. I've learned so much over the last few years, but yeah, mad.
It's mad. And how do you juggle your bookings and everything as well? Like, how do you manage yourself, or do you have a manager?
Calendar on my phone. Do you know what I find the most awkward thing? It's knowing like how to sell myself sometimes, because you know, if you speak to someone new, they're like, "What's your fee?" And it's like, "But what's your budget?" And they're like, "Yeah, but what's your fee?" And it's like, "But what's your budget?" Because if your budget's £1,000, yeah, I'm not selling myself out for 150 quid. Like, for starters, the amount of people that just say, "What's your fee?" and don't give you any detail, it's like, okay, but where is the venue? How many hours do you want me to play for? Am I bringing a full setup? Like, it's just, yeah, it's a lot. So I kind of think like, unless I do like an hour booking, if I'm going somewhere to do an hour, I feel like a minimum 100, 150 quid. Depends on how far I've got to travel. But I've normally feel like a good rate for doing like bits and pieces is £50 an hour. But then if you're talking about like an artist booking, okay, it's really difficult. Like I wouldn't really want to play for less than £50 an hour, depending on how far I've got to go somewhere. But selling yourself is the hardest, and that's one of the things I've really, really struggled with. Is when you're talking to new people, it's just knowing where to come in.
Yeah.
I want to do that job for me one day in the future would be amazing, but for now it's like, I don't know, I'm just winging it. I'm winging it like everybody else. Like, I want to fill the calendar. Sometimes I take on more things and I think, shit, I've got like 4 hours in between gigs and I'm not slept the night before. Like, where am I going to sleep? Like, so I'll take all the work. Like, I want to do it. So I'm still figuring it out, to be honest. But everything is in the calendar on my phone. I don't even have it. I used to have a diary and a calendar, but now it's just like, yeah, if I lost my phone, I'm fucked. Like, it's all
that kind of, I mean, obviously that's some great advice, but as we finish up here, like, what's the best advice you could give for up and coming like producers, DJs, event planners, you know, within the industry?
Just fucking do it. I wasted so much time, and I still feel like I should take my own advice, especially with Deja Groove. I'm like, cool, I've got this next event and then I'm going to kind of wait till next year, whatever. But it's like, nah, just fucking do it. Get out there. Be nice. Like, be nice to people. It's shit because you have to network. And I feel like sometimes it's not genuine when you're arse licking. Like, always be nice, but we all want something, don't we? Like, it's true. We all want to meet that connection that might book us for that thing. But it goes two ways. Like, if you can kind of have something to offer too, that's cool. But if you're starting, you might not. So yeah, just always try to put yourself out there and meet people and be polite. Good DJ etiquette, just good etiquette in general. But yeah, just do it. I feel like I regret not getting into DJing a couple of years before. I was like, oh, I'll do it. And then I did. Like, if it don't work out, it doesn't matter. You do a part-time job, go back to what you're doing. But if it's something you're really passionate about, throw yourself into it and see where it goes. Like, I think that's the best advice I could give. Just fucking do it.
Yeah, definitely. No, I honestly, it's good. Any advice is good advice, right? Because it could apply to someone, you know, that I think that it's, you know, to them that is the best advice, you know. So
I just feel like, what's the worst case scenario? Like, it doesn't happen. Like,
yeah,
is it the end of the world? Obviously, be a little bit careful. Like, don't completely pack in your job and say, I want to DJ if you don't have gigs and you've got a family you need to support. Like, obviously, like, be a little bit logical with it.
Yeah.
But, like, you can make it work for you. You always can. And if it's a change in something that you need, I think, yeah, always just give it a go. You might surprise yourself. And for all the failures, they're learning curves anyway. I mean, there's some things I would probably regret. Like, there was one night I got really, really drunk at the end of a gig, and I was asked to stop playing, and I played like Venga Boys We Like to Party, and the manager was like, we're done, but I was really drunk, and everyone was like, reload it, and I played it like 17 times. And like, obviously
this song will never get old.
Yeah, I obviously regret that. Like, don't get too drunk, but no, like, yeah, like but you learn from everything. They make good stories, and like, yeah, like kind of little bit of regret, but no regret.
Yeah, good experiences, right? Yeah, exactly.
True.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to leave with us before and the listeners before we sort of brush up? Yeah.
If any of you don't know who I am and have listened to all of this, thank you for locking in. It's really nice that you're interested in me or what I'm talking about. I really appreciate that. Yeah, just thank anyone that knows me and is watching this. Thank you for supporting me and stuff. Like, it means the world, and I just want to DJ and play parties, and hopefully I get to meet you all. We all dance together. That's what it's about.
Sick, mate. That's quality. No, that's wicked.
That's cringy, but like, yeah, it's actually just the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is. I mean, you just want to have a good time and just enjoy, dancing and that. And yeah. No, I appreciate you having you on, Amy. It's been a pleasure.
I'm glad you finally got to do it. It's been months. This month, moving house. This time, we're here.
Nah, you're good energy, mate, and I appreciate you giving me your time to come in here and share your story.
Anytime. Thank you.